What's going on, guys? So we are out here at the property. As most people know, if you followed my channel for a while, I have a lot of equipment out here. I have a bad boy tractor. I have a Toro 2000 HDX. This is their commercial zero-turn mower. I got my big beast. This is the Skag Cheetah 2. Also a big commercial mower. We have our mini excavator over there. And fuel is one of those things that we constantly need to have on hand because we're always running out of it whenever we're running this equipment. And one of the challenges oftentimes is, how do you store the fuel properly? How do you store enough of it to be able to really keep your equipment up and running? And what happens when you have cheap stuff that ultimately fails? So this is going to be a really cool video, and it features these really cool jugs from the folks over at TUFFJUG. This is a very innovative product, and I'm super happy that they were able to send some samples over so I could show you guys what they're all about. Hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so most people are probably very familiar with these gas cans right here. So this is your traditional plastic polyethylene gas can. And the problem with these ultimately comes down to the fact that they pour super slow. They get really heavy whenever you have to tip them over, and you have to catch them on the lip here, plus release the handle right here to allow the fuel to flow. But that's not the biggest problem I have with these. The biggest problem with these is the fact that they just start to deteriorate after a while at the seams. So a good example is just in the process of moving this one, you can see how some fuel is already permeating through a crack on top. So I have to get rid of this gas can, and this is kind of perfect timing for this type of a collaborative video with the folks over at TUFFJUG. Now, in front of you, you were looking at a sample of what they offer. I have a couple of them assembled with the actual nozzles on them as well, or the spout, so you can see how those work. But I have two in yellow. I'm going to use those for diesel, and I have two in red. And these are going to go with the rest of the jugs I already have for fuel. But these have some special magic associated with them that I can really appreciate, including a spout that automatically stops whenever the fuel gets to the top. Now, I haven't had a chance to use these yet. I've literally just unboxed them, and you all know me. I like to show stuff how it works when it is first unboxed, first put together, and that's what we're going to do here. The first thing I want to do, though, is I'm going to transfer this fuel into this jug right here so I can get it set up. The cap that comes with them looks like this. You have a little O-ring inside of here. I dropped the cap earlier and the O-ring kind of popped out, so I'll put that back in place. But then you take the center part off and you thread on this nozzle right here, which again has an auto stop feature, which is going to be pretty cool if it works. But yeah, let's go ahead and empty out this defective gas can that I got to get rid of into this jug right here so we can go ahead and try it out. Now, I know most people who have used, these more traditional gas jugs probably are going to be like, well, it's just fine. You don't have any issues with them. But the fact is, they're always a little bit difficult to handle. Even right now, it's just not the greatest solution for pouring because I'm holding it up. I'm actually propping it up with my leg and holding it at kind of an odd angle. And yeah, you got to do that for a while until enough fuel comes out that you can shift it or it takes some of the weight off of it. Honestly, what I end up doing most of the time is just removing the top lid right here, the spout. And just pouring it in like this. Which, because the opening is relatively small, you still have to pour really slow so you don't have it, chugging out and making a mess. I love these race-style jugs because they're so large that if you have a large enough opening in a piece of equipment, it's pretty dang easy just to pour the fuel out if you need to. So that'll be the end of this jug. I'm not going to be using it anymore for anything. And to show you how this works, I'm just going to take the center part out right here. You want to hold on to that because whenever you transport these around to get them refilled, you may want to take this large spout out so you don't have to take the whole thing. I'm going to thread that on now. Have the O-ring back in place on here as well. Okay, so it says insert the black vent tube into jug, handle for proper function. So we want to thread it into the handle right here. And this has placed the end of this about 3 inches into the tank, so we're only going to put this about 3 inches into the actual tank of the Toro. And then when it reaches the top, the fluid flow should stop. So we're going to feed this into the handle right here. Like that. That was pretty easy. Okay, there we go, nice and tight. Okay, so first of all, I do love the placement of the handle. It's in a really good spot, so it's easy to lift up. And then we'll be pouring with the handle being on top. And then we'll unthread the cap off of here. And put this 3 inches in. And that is pouring quick too. I love the fact that you can kind of visually see the amount of flow coming out. That is pretty awesome. Wow, that is crazy convenient how quickly it flows. I may have to stick this into the tank a little further for the auto shutoff because this actually holds more than the 5 gallons that are in this jug. This is probably the fastest flowing nozzle I've ever used. Boy, that's convenient. That is absolutely crazy how fast that is pouring in there. Okay, it's going to fill up. We'll see what happens. Gonna hit the nozzle, and it stopped. Check that out. It is no longer flowing in there anymore. Watch. See if I can get a better shot here. And it stopped. It's no longer pouring anymore. I lift it up. Look at that. That is absolutely awesome. From a pricing perspective, these things are actually really incredibly priced. Now, they have 3 different size options. They may have more by the time you watch this video, but it's 1.25 or 1 1/4 gallon TUFFJUG is going to be $22.99. The 2.5 gallon is $32.99, and the 5 gallon, the ones you see in front of you, are $37.99 and include the auto stop spout. If you only want the spout, well, you probably need a lid that'll support it or a cap that'll support it, but the spout by itself is $15, $14.99, or if you need to replace it. That is one heck of a value considering, again, how quickly the fuel goes in, the convenient angle that you actually are holding the jug by, and the fact that it stops automatically when it gets to the top. Because there's so many scenarios, me personally, where I'm filling up one of my pieces of equipment and I just can't see when it's getting to the very top and all of a sudden it overflows. And to have the spout automatically stop, but not just stop, it even siphoned off about 1/2 inch of fuel that was right at the top. Man, it just adds so much peace of mind, and it really eliminates the mess. Typically, when I'm done adding fuel to these, I have fuel kind of dribbling down the side right here because a little bit, kind of spills over, but check it out, completely dry. That is really, really cool. I will absolutely put a link in the description of this video to these products if you're interested. I can honestly tell you, that blew my mind away. Absolutely blown away by the performance here. Just really, really a good product. I love the fact that, again, if you look at the side of the jug here, you can see made in the US. That's going to matter to a lot of folks. It matters to me. Has the Smart Stop technology, best handle location, I agree. Fastest fill, 0 spills. Absolutely love this product. Super, super cool. Big shout out to them for providing these samples to me. Definitely going to get use out of them, and I'll probably end up replacing all my jugs with these. Anyways, guys, sure hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again very soon.